All right, welcome back to another edition of Under Center with Kirk Cousins. I'm your host, Kirk Cousins, and I'm here with a favorite guest of mine, Irv Smith Jr. Irv, welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Kirk?
Good. So Irv has had a great rookie year for us, been very productive, and he got an even brighter future up ahead. But he was our second-round draft pick this past spring. We were looking for some more speed and dynamic down the field ability at the tight end position, and we definitely hit on Irv Smith Jr. So, Irv, let's just start a little bit by going back to the draft and talking about the process of becoming a Minnesota Viking. What was that weekend like, and what was it like getting the call from the Vikings?
We needed that playmaker, another playmaker on offense. Irv Smith. Okay, get him on the phone.
Hello?
Hey Irv, how you doing?
How's it going?
You waiting to get picked by someone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mind if we pick you?
Yes, sir. Let's do it, baby.
Okay, we're going to turn your name in, and congratulations, you're a Minnesota Viking.
Minnesota.
The Minnesota Vikings select Irv Smith, tight end from Alabama.
It was probably the best, one of the best weekends of my life. For
Wow.
me, I didn't really know I was kind of up in the air, late first round, early second round kind of grade. That's what they had me at. So, once I fell the first day, second day I kind of knew, I was gonna be getting a call pretty early. I end up falling 50th to the Vikings, but for me, it was the best thing that could have happened.
Well, I think you ended up in a good spot because we're using a ton of tight ends,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we will continue to use a ton of tight ends. And your role is only going to grow as you go. And as you know, and as your dad knows, having played in the NFL, it's so important where you go.
Definitely.
Think about Michael Thomas. I believe he was a second-round pick,
Yeah.
not a first-round pick, but he went to the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they know how to use the wide receiver, and so that's made a huge difference for his career than if he had gone somewhere where they don't know how to put him to use. So I think you ended up in the right spot. But talk about your dad having played in the NFL, and he played tight end, right?
Yeah.
So played the same position. What is that dynamic like? I mean, is he kind of coaching you through the process, going back to high school, college, and now playing the NFL? Does he give you a lot of input?
Well, yeah, it's actually crazy. My dad, he doesn't miss a game.
Wow.
High school.
My dad sat next to him at the Cowboys game.
Yeah. So my dad, he lives in Arizona, but I went to high school in New Orleans. Didn't miss a game. Came to every game. College, we traveled all around the South, and he's still in Arizona. Didn't miss a game.
Wow.
And then NFL so far, he still hasn't missed a game. So
That's awesome.
He comes, he travels, and he lets me do my thing.
Yeah.
But he'll give me his inputs. I feel like you should have done this here. You did a good job here. Finish here. Just little stuff like that to, just help me elevate my game.
How much has the game changed since he played? Do you feel like when you talk to him, it really is the same game? Or do you feel like sometimes you're like, Dad, it's different now?
Yeah, he always says, you're lucky now. Because back in the day, he said all he had was his hand in the dirt,
Yeah.
Having a block. But now, tight ends, they're doing so many different things with it. So, he just jokes about, how lucky I am now that I don't have to have my hand in the dirt the whole time.
Well, you're a huge matchup advantage for us because if teams are going to play base defense and put a true will linebacker on the field, we like that matchup.
Definitely.
And, we'll still oftentimes play our two tight ends when they go nickel.
Kirk Cousins, end zone, touchdown! Irv Smith, the rookie from Alabama, with his first NFL touchdown.
When they put a third corner in the game, we still feel good about you on a corner, which goes to show, the kind of athleticism you have. So with a dad who played in the NFL, I'm sure you were a big recruit coming out of high school if you end up at Alabama. Talk a little bit about your recruitment coming out of New Orleans. I'm sure LSU wanted you. Was it a really tough decision to have a bunch of offers and a lot of good options and have to pick between some really good schools?
Well, yeah, actually for me, my recruitment process is a little different. Most guys get their offers like their sophomore year, kind of spring type of thing.
Early.
Early in Louisiana, spring football is real big for us. That's when you really get your offers. So my sophomore year, I missed the whole season. Got hurt week 2, missed the whole season. I didn't have any offers. And then my junior year, I balled. it still didn't have any offers until basketball season.
Of your junior year?
Of my junior year.
What position were you playing in basketball?
I play everything.
Okay, all right.
On offense, I bring the ball up. On defense,
Really?
I guard the biggest dude. So
Okay.
So I finally I got my first offer from Tulane, and then like once you get your first offer, it
really helps.
It just blows up. So that spring, Alabama offered me LSU.
Wow.
Basically, I had like over 40
And was it
offers,
always
so.
a tight end, or did some teams say, "Hey, we may put you at defensive end, or we may have you do something else"?
No, it was always like tight end kind of
Okay.
move, kind of tight end guy, some receiver, stuff like that. But it was always offense.
Were you a big guy as a high schooler? Like, was it pretty clear I'm going to be a tight end, or did you have dreams of being an ex receiver?
I wanted to play receiver. I always told that was a joke with my dad. I always tell him, I'm playing receiver. He's like, "You're gonna be too big." I was the same way. You're gonna be too big. You're gonna be too big. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna play receiver.
It sounds like your dad really knew what he was talking about,
Yeah.
and he steered you in the right direction. Because every decision sounds like going to Alabama, the decision to leave early, where you've ended up now, and just the way you've handled with maturity, even as a young guy, your rookie year, it sounds like he's kind of been a great counsel and guide along the way.
Yeah, definitely. My dad, he's done it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Been through high school, been through college, been through the NFL, been through life after football. So, it kind of I have the blueprint almost. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome. Was Alabama an easy decision?
After I visited there, I was committed to Texas A&M.
Really?
Like my junior year, it was my first visit. I was like, I went there, just fell in love with.
Wow.
And then after, Colin Murray left, Kyle Allen left, I decommitted. Then Alabama was like, just come take a visit, come see what it's talking about. And I was just like, okay, like, what I'm saying? I don't know if I want to go to Alabama. End up going there. After that, it was a no-brainer.
Wow. Now, it sounds like you were pretty forward-thinking with picking your school because you thought about the offense you're going to play in. How does it project for you being able to be at the next level? Are they going to throw you the ball? You factored all that in rather than just saying, "Oh, I'm going to go to Alabama because they're the best." And
Yeah.
Some guys go to these schools where they're in the wrong position or they're in the wrong offense, and then they're a great athlete, but they'll never get to go to the next level. But it sounds like you kind of factored that into your decision of where to play college football.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like once I went to Alabama and seen what it was about. Then O.J. Howard, he was going to be a senior that year.
Yep.
And so I knew, okay, I was going to be behind him a year. I could learn from him, kind of see how he carries himself, what he does on the field.
That's a great idea.
And then, I knew it was going to be in my hands after that once he left.
Wow,
so.
that's smart. That's smart. Not every 17-year-old is that smart when they're picking where to go, and it obviously paid off. Talk about Coach Saban, iconic coach. He was actually a coach at Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
My head coach in college was his assistant.
Yeah.
So there were some Saban ties at Michigan State. Had so much success in so many different places. Did he grind you? Were you one of his guys? Even leaving early, was that kind of a thing that upset him? What was your dynamic with Coach Saban through the years?
Oh, yeah, Coach Saban, I mean, he's I mean, as you describe him as the GOAT, honestly. I mean, that's how I say, like, with everything, how he carries himself, how he, attention to detail, just everything out there. But I say but leaving early, he was not happy about it at all.
I bet.
But I had to do what was best for myself at the end of the day, and he respected that. So
It probably wouldn't have hurt to come back. I mean, you probably
Yeah.
still would have been a first or second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that, hey, if I can play another year in the pros, why not?
Exactly.
So I think you made a good decision. Now talk a little bit about moving to Minnesota. So everything from weather to finding a place to live, meeting all new teammates, learning a new offense. We were just in line in the cafeteria the other day, and you said to me it was -1 outside, and you said, "This is the coldest weather I've ever been in." Period. I've never felt -1 before. So talk a little bit about that.
Man, it's different. It's honestly like a cool different. Just coming, growing up in hot weather my whole life, kind of just something different. And also, I feel like it helps you lock in a lot more. You know what I'm saying? You're inside most of the time.
Maybe less distractions.
Yeah, less distractions.
It's interesting. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, just go to work, kind of just focus, relax, and get your mind off of things, and then get back to it. So I really enjoy it. And then also, the Vikings in Minnesota, they do a great job of taking care of us and everything.
The way I tell people who move here, because I've been here only a year, but I grew up in the north and I'm used to the cold weather, I say, if you're in the season, it really doesn't get that cold or that bad of weather until late December, mid-December. And then if you make the playoffs, yeah, you're here in January, but you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you don't really
can't
care
be
what the
mad.
weather is. You're happy, and if you're winning and you're going deeper in the playoffs, you're good. And then if you make it to the Super Bowl, you're going to the Super Bowl location, which is usually a warm weather spot in late January anyways. And then the season's over, and you got February and March to go where you want to go. So even if you don't like cold weather, it really ain't that bad.
Definitely.
And guys can make it work. Now, you were at one time, I believe, when you were drafted, the youngest player in the NFL.
Yeah.
So when I said you left early, I mean, you really left early.
Yeah.
You were obviously young as a high school senior, young as a college player. You were there 3 years at Alabama and then left, which is the earliest you can leave. You have to be out of high school for 3 years before going to the NFL. You don't feel like only 21. I mean, I feel like we're peers. I'm a decade older than you. I'm 31 years old, and yet I feel like we're peers. So talk a little bit about being only 21. You turned 21 in August, right, during a preseason game that same day. And just, I don't know, trying to be around a bunch of adults as such a young guy and yet holding your own.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I grew up with I have an older sister, so I feel like just growing up around her friends, and then, going to Alabama, I was the youngest guy, having to be in the locker room with, fifth-year seniors and guys that were, big alpha dogs on campus and on the team. So I feel like just, coming in, having, that mindset that, I'm going to come in and work and, just gain the respect of everybody else. That's just what I try to do.
Yeah, well, you definitely earned it. Now talk about you move and you get a dog, which if I'm a single guy, I don't want to take on the responsibilities of a dog. But a lot of guys in our team have dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to a few. Some guys have cats. They love it. It's like a thing. I guess before guys settle down, they kind of start with just a pet. Talk about your English bulldog. I think of all the breeds you could have gotten, that's a pretty cool one.
Yeah. No, I love. She's super cool. She's 5 months old. I got her when she was about 6-7 weeks, so we kind of been through it a little bit.
You had
now.
to train her a little bit.
Yeah.
House trainer.
I'm still going through it a little bit.
Still growing. The bulldog's still growing.
Yeah, still growing.
When will she be full grown? Like another 6 months?
I just took her to the vet a couple of days ago, and she's already like 35 pounds.
Wow.
And I got her and she was like 6. So.
And pretty healthy, because bulldogs can have some health issues, pretty healthy, breathes good.
Yeah, breathes good. I mean, you can hear her breathing everywhere, but yeah, she breathes good, though.
That's awesome. Well, Irv, thanks so much for coming on, man. I was talking to my dad. He came into town. Like you, I have a close relationship with my dad, and he's not at every game, but he's watching every game.
No, definitely.
And he watches pretty closely, and he didn't play football for many years, but he'd like to think he did. He's offering a lot of input. He probably is giving me more input than your dad's even giving you. But I was talking with him over Thanksgiving dinner, and I said, I think we hit big on Irv Smith. I think, in the second round when you draft a guy, you're hoping, man, I hope this guy's going to be a game changer for us. And after, I guess we're in week 15 now, week 16, I can confidently say we hit on Irv Smith. And I think it not only makes a big difference for this year, but for years to come.
I appreciate that.
I played with some good tight ends. Obviously, Kyle Rudolph, what he's done this year has been outstanding. I played with Jordan Reed, Vernon Davis in Washington. You're every bit as good as all those guys, and you got a bright future. And I know your dad knows that, and he's going to keep you humble and hungry too. So I'm excited for your future, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, my guy.